Sup gamers, I'm Weiwei, an indie game developer with a passion for storytelling and a love for creating unique gaming experiences. Welcome to my channel, where I'll be sharing my journey in game development, from my earliest projects to my current works in progress. In this video, I'll take you through my game development adventure, showcasing the games I've created, the lessons I've learned, and giving you a sneak peek into what I'm working on now. Whether you're a fellow developer, an aspiring game creator, or just someone who loves games, I hope you'll find something inspiring here. So, grab your favorite controller, and let's dive into the world of indie game dev together. My favorite part of games is their ability to tell stories in an interactive way. I see them as a way to convey messages the player would remember for life. I've always been inspired by indie devs like Chilla's Art, Angela He, and Concerned Ape. Every one of them brought something raw and transformative to the game industry. Games like Ace Attorney, Life is Strange, and Stardew Valley have all shaped how I tell stories in my own games. But that's a story for another video. The first ever game I made is called Thrill Seekers. It's for my first game development project in college, where we had to make a replayable and fun one-button game. Imagine Flappy Bird, but with a human life at stake. In this case, the button I chose was X. Why X, you ask? Honestly, it just felt satisfying to press at the time. I came up with a wacky setting that you and your partner are performing a circus stunt, and when you throw a dagger to the wooden board without hitting him, you get 1 point. If you shot the dagger to be just above his head, you get double points. The highest score record I've seen on this game is 146, proudly held by my sister, who is not a gamer. Making this game was my introduction to coding, so you can imagine how long it took me to do simple things like make the sprite rotate, instantiate objects, and playing animations using code. But we were given 3 weeks to do it, and somehow I managed to pull together a rather decent game. My son, Charlie, is a psychological horror visual novel, and the second game I've made. I really like to make games that reflect the human condition and are more about psychology than fantasy. I tend to focus on relationships between people and the stories about the world around us. So I decided to make a visual novel about the difficulties of raising your son as a single father. Nothing weird happens in this game. Nope, no shocking twists whatsoever. But I used ink to create the dialogue system, and despite the limited tutorials on YouTube about it, I still managed to somehow get a working game, with functional variables to determine the endings and tags. There are 4 endings in My Son, Charlie, that all depend on your choices in the game. When I have time, I do want to improve on this game's art and design, and if I'm satisfied, maybe I'll even ship it out on Steam. Who knows? But without spoiling too much of the initial story, I would be thrilled if you guys went to check it out. All the links for my games are in the description. They're all free and playable in the browser. The third game I've made is called Roommate. As you can see, it's heavily inspired by retro PS1 graphics. When I made this, the indie retro horror genre was seriously trending, and I was infatuated with the distinct style of games like Fears to Fathom, The Closing Shift, and tons of other short-form indie horror games. Our assignment for this was to make a game with no text, so I had to figure out a way to communicate the story and the controls to the player. Naturally, I decided to try making cutscenes. This was my first time working with the timeline editor in Unity, and it sucked. It kept giving me problems. My audio didn't play in time, my characters would rotate randomly, and I think it took 1 week of my precious semester time to figure out what was going on. Spoiler alert, I didn't figure it out. I think if you play it on my itch.io, now, there's still a chance the timeline sequence might bug out. Oh well. Oh yeah, this game went viral. I didn't expect it to get as much attention as it did, but it made me ecstatic. Small creators were playing it and posting their gameplay on YouTube. It felt like a fever dream. It made me feel like anything was possible. And this is the 4th and latest game I've ever made, Charlotte's First Date. You play as a bachelorette called Charlotte, preparing for your first date happening the next day. There are 6 different endings, and the game is short and sweet. I made it for a 72-hour game jam with the theme of harmony. This was probably my first and last game jam ever. Why, you ask? Well, I, for the life of me, cannot pull all-nighters. I meant to stay there for all 72 hours, but when night came, I noped out of there and went home to sleep. I would say I slept through a good chunk of it. Needless to say, I still managed to make a somewhat complete game, given that I sacrificed production time to catch some Z's at home. On a side note, does anyone recognize her outfit? No? Charlotte's First Date was inspired by a show I really liked called Carol and the End of the World. By inspired, I mean the character's outfit and overall quirkiness and aesthetics of the game was lightly inspired by the show. Well, what does someone's first date have to do with harmony? Why don't you find out for yourself? The link is in the description. The project that is taking up my 9 to 5 is Clear Brightness, a game I'm thrilled to show the world. You play as a young teacher in sunny Singapore who learns more about her deceased grandfather by participating in Qing Ming, also known as All Souls Day, with your grandmother. Clear Brightness is a direct translation of Qing Ming, inspired by one of my favorite poems of the same name by Mr. Bowie Kim Chang. This project is my love letter to Singapore's culture and traditions, something I feel isn't often explored in games. You'll be immersed in the vibrant world of Singapore and experience the process of Qing Ming, which will be new for many players. As you progress through the game, you'll uncover the bonds that connect people, even beyond death. With this game, I aim to tell a story about how local traditions allow us to express care and remembrance in ways that transcend mortal realms. I'm fully involved in every part of the development process: art, coding, writing. It's a labor of love, and I can't wait to keep sharing progress with you. If all goes well, Clear Brightness will be ready by the end of next year. Hope you guys stay excited. When I'm not working on Clear Brightness, I'll be working on my art, side business, and other game ideas. I'm aiming to post at least one short video every other week, giving you updates on my game dev journey, sneak peeks into my art, and progress on Clear Brightness. I'm also planning to create more content about my game development experiences and, who knows, maybe some art tutorials as well. If that sounds interesting to you, don't forget to subscribe for more updates, and let me know in the comments what kind of content you'd love to see on this channel. And that's a wrap on my journey as a game developer so far. From my first college project to my current passion project, Clear Brightness, it's been an incredible ride. I'm excited to share more of this journey with you all. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Your support means the world to me and helps me continue creating content and games. Until next time, gamers. See you in the next video.